Unit 8 in the preparatory level, the tissue box touch release. This is the second important physical gesture that the student learns in succeeding at the piano. The first one is called, as you know, the drip, drop, roll. There's my puppy Hayden, having a great time with his chew toy. So the tissue box touch release is used whenever we want to hear a pianissimo, quiet, ethereal, wispy sound. So for example, in a piece like Debussy, box touch release, we can imagine that we're listening to something so beautiful like a Chopin work and we get teary-eyed, so we go to a tissue box and we pull a tissue from the tissue box. So you'll notice the wrist slowly comes up and the forearm follows. We do not have an elbow that comes out or a shoulder that comes up. So it's just a very simple gesture like this. So the student will only use this physical gesture in very, very special places. And in succeeding at the piano, I believe wholeheartedly that students must learn how to listen to what they want to create before they actually create the sound. And we need to give them the tools in order to know what physical gestures should be used in order to create the right sound. So we have the drip, drop, roll motion, which is a little bit different because there's a drip, there's a drop, and then the wrist and the forearm rolls forward. But the tissue box, once the student plays the tissue box, the wrist just comes right up. And it really is just the height of the tissue box. That's all it is. So here in this particular piece on page 44, the student can use a tissue box for every other measure. And the musicality girl says, listen, can you tell your teacher the sound that you make when you put the damper pedal down? So it's a wonderful beginning way to get students to think of something really quiet. So now, ringing the bells is on page 45. And here students are learning steps D, E, F, in between the two guide notes of C and G. So we have a step up from D to E, or a step up from E to F. And this lovely piece is called Ringing the Bells by Timothy Brown. We ask the students to track the notes with a line to show the repeated notes and the steps. And at the very end, guess what we see? We see an icon of the Chopin tissue box. So your students will say, oh my gosh, we get to use a tissue box touch release at the end, right? One of my students, for a long time, he would play a tissue box touch release whenever he could, and then when he would come up, he would do this. He pretended he blew his nose. Okay, so here's Ringing the Bells. Isn't that beautiful? This is the kind of student we want to teach. Somebody who really knows what they want to hear before they actually play it. Unit 8 of Succeeding at the Piano Preparatory level begins with students learning the tissue box touch release. Then they learn steps D, E, and F, which are between guide notes middle C and treble G. And then we turn the page and we have two wonderful pieces called My Friend and Winter Breeze. My Friend is in 3/4 time. The students are reviewing what a second interval is, as well as the guide notes of F and C in the bass clef. Winter Breeze is by Mary Leaf. Here the students are reviewing the B below middle C that they learned just a few pages ago. So there's always constant reinforcement in succeeding at the piano. And the words are winter breeze in the trees, I can hear you blowing. Winter breeze, if you please, let it soon be snowing. All right, and of course for every one of these pieces are excellent practice steps so your students learn how to be efficient practicers. So now we're ready for Unit 9 in the Lesson and Technique book, but I want to take this opportunity to show you a few pieces in the recital book. So Sad Symphony is on page 18 by Kevin Olson. Here the students are reviewing the D, E, and F between middle C and treble G. A very playful piece called It's That Parrot Again by Tim Brown. I didn't know my new parrot could talk. Then he said, how are you? With a loud squawk. I asked him if he could say anything. He said, of course, and I even can sing. Aren't those two really cute pieces? My goodness. And then we're on to Unit 9 in the recital book. In Unit 8 of the theory book, we have notes in the treble staff. So students are reviewing C, D, E, F, G. And this is a really great page, page 27, to have your students actually sing the names of the notes and all the answers. So you could say, a step up from middle C is D. A step up from D is E. A step up from E is F. You get the idea of that. And they just love to sing that, and then they really know their notes. And at the bottom of the page, they're tracing the G or treble clef sign so they learn how to draw that.